Nothing contained in this podcast should be considered a substitute for professional medical advice. This content does not represent our respective employers and is purely the opinion of the podcast hosts. We are not your personal medical providers. Sorry, friends. So, if you have any questions or concerns or are seeking advice, diagnosis, and or treatment, please seek individual, personalized advice from a healthcare provider in your area. We are not liable for any risks or issues associated with using or acting upon the information contained in this podcast. This is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only, so enjoy the ride.
We are coming from Old York Wineries in Ringo's, New Jersey.
Yes, I like how she looks at me to confirm when we're.
Told me the place, and I don't know. I got here.
Yes, you got here.
For people who think New Jersey is all like what you see in The Sopranos,
yeah, we need to like pan over and show them like.
Yeah, let's give you a little look. This is New Jersey too. See. Yes. It is not all.
Yes, we do have many wineries. People judge our wines, but they're not so terrible. We're not in Sonoma.
No, not quite.
We're not so terrible. We're not. It's not bathtub wine.
Isn't that gin?
No, that's something else. That's
There's
moonshine. Moonshine is bathtub gin.
Okay. There's bathtub wine?
I mean, there's toilet wine, but that's a prison thing.
Yes, I have heard of that, actually. Let's look for some snackies.
Yes.
And we will play some games. So I'm thinking that we can make this our first thing that goes up Patreon.
Okay. Yeah. If people want to pay to watch us drink and play games. Sure, that works.
We'll just the audio, of course, release, but the whole video with all the outtakes.
Yeah. I received my wine. What flavored would you think this is?
Grapefruit.
Yeah. Apparently it's raspberry. It looks a little orange to me, but it's good.
All right. I got to come up with a snack, and then we will play some fun games.
What did you want? Deb is here with us.
Debbie and her drinks is making guest appearance.
Debbie and her drinks on Instagram is here, drinking with us. I'll have to take some pictures for her Insta.
Oh, I got to take out cards too. A big chunk of cards.
I have.
People ask us who we are and what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, and the lady who's looking at us now with the glasses on, she knew that we were the podcast, and she was super excited.
Okay. These are cards for anyone who wants. Oh.
Oh, here comes your tasting.
What?
Yes, they have a partnership with Daryl of Run DMC, who has his own wines here. In fact, I met him personally at Comic-Con last year.
Nice.
Yes, he was super nice back. So now you get to try his white wine.
So that's the one they replaced?
Yes.
Is that what they said? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we want to get both dips in one of the other boards and just snacky snack.
Yeah, that's fine.
So either the Spanish or the Spanish artisan board or the cheese board.
Let's do the Spanish artisan.
Yeah, because that probably is more than just cheese, and
yes,
you don't need that much cheese.
Okay. Now Deb wants her photo op, so got it.
It is, 80-something degrees.
Yeah.
All right, let's try the Chardonnay. It is unoaked with medium body, has a soft acidity, and highlights fruit flavors, peaches and pear with a clean, crisp.
Do you know what any of that means?
I know what acidity is like.
What does unoaked mean?
It wasn't an oak.
But how does that affect the taste?
It won't be oaky. I know what I like when I read the descriptions of wines. Like, I know, I like more the fruit forward. I don't like things, I do know when I read a description, I'll like that, I won't like that.
Right.
But I know.
Well, and I thought you were more of a red drinker. So when you said the white, I was like, okay.
But it's summer.
It's summer.
This is cute. The music's not overwhelming because it's over there. Nice view. You got your little cabana, and people have parties here.
Well, and I've been here twice before. The last time was a couple years ago with Deb for Mother's Day. They did a nice Mother's Day pairing. It was wines and snacks. And then I came once before. I believe it was with Crystal and Diana, maybe Chrissy. But we did 3 wineries in one day, and so this was somewhere in the mix. And so yeah, there's 2 wineries within 5 minutes of here.
Tasty. I'm not usually a Chardonnay person, so this is pretty good.
More recently, I've liked Chardonnay.
I'd be more of a Pinot Grigio, Albarino are the 2 that I would buy in the store normally, because Chardonnay can sometimes be too dry. But this is nice. Maybe because it's unoaked. Who knows? Maybe I like unoaked Chardonnays.
Sometimes it's a little bitter too.
Right. Yeah. This one's not, so it's pretty nice.
I'm a Riesling fan, but they're out of their Riesling, so we'll just have to imagine what it tastes like.
Yeah. So what do we got as far as games?
So we've got Mind Games, a box, not a book, of psychological play.
Oh, this is the Rorschach one?
Not all of them, but that's part of it. And then we have Horrible Therapist. She's now all over the place. Horrible therapist. It's a game where you make very unpleasant therapeutic responses to people's problems. So, and then what did you bring?
So I brought 2 books, one of which we gave in our basket for that tricky tray.
Yeah.
So this is Doctors and Distillers. I only started reading and highlighting things to do with wine in this one the other day. And then this is Why Do Men Have Nipples? It's lots of random medical knowledge that is not really pertinent for me, like to treat someone, but like people, do ask weird questions.
So why do men have nipples?
Because all mammals have nipples.
Why?
All mammals, because they feed their young.
But men don't feed their young.
Just I think something in embryology where they didn't want to split it off. We'll find that question in there. That's not one of the ones I highlighted. We'll look for it later. Is the answer. I have a game.
Stay tuned. We'll find out later.
Which I think is probably very similar to maybe this game.
Probably.
But it's called Diagnose This, and it's about symptoms and diagnosis with silliness. So
yes.
I guess grab one first.
So we'll do one of these because these are short. They're just like single cards. I've used this quite a bit before. So that's fine. Okay, well, let's see. There's a specific one I'm looking for. That's why I'm taking so long. The chair friendship test. Oh, that's interesting. Select the chair that most appeals to you.
Oh, we should see. Are we compatible?
Well, we'll find out. So you're going to look through this and there's a bunch of pictures in this booklet and you're going to pick out the chair that appeals to you most.
Okay.
So do that first. She's looking very closely at these chairs. Probably overthinking this.
Okay. I have it between 2.
Okay. I bet I can only imagine what kind of chair you would.
I don't know. We'll see if you. Let's see.
Well, did you pick it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what you're supposed to do is pull it out and then you're going to read on the back what reveals what your qualities are as a friend.
Oh, okay.
But don't show it to me because if I pick the same one, then no one's going to know.
Okay.
So you can just.
Okay, it's flipped over. You can't see it. Friends find you a warm and supportive person, always willing to invite them into the world you create, which makes them feel at home, loved, and respected. It's a world in which they can show their true feelings and find sympathy. This willingness to be the reliable and dependable friend perhaps fulfills a need in you to be needed. It may indicate that you sometimes confuse giving love with being who you are, that you are okay so long as it is you who are doing the giving. Perhaps sometimes, however, you cover it up. You inwardly tend to reject or distrust the love and affection that others have for you. Not because you don't really want it, but because you cannot be sure that it is genuine. You give a great deal, try to take more, and be happy.
Do you feel personally victimized by that?
I don't know.
Did you show the camera what the card looks like?
Okay, let me show the camera.
So that's what that chair means.
Okay, so I got to put it back in here, mix them all up, stick it in there somewhere, put them in different order.
Okay, so now I'm going to pick a chair. Okay. I'm picking this one.
That was my second choice.
This was the one that I picked.
Yeah, that was my second choice.
And it says, your friends may find you in an intriguing mix of strengths and weaknesses. You're quite a balanced sort of person. You know yourself and you have depth and integrity of character, which is appreciated. But because life for you doesn't always work as you think or wished it might, you may come across sometimes slightly displaced, a bit distraught. There are times when the confidence others expect of you and may have come to rely on slips. I'm laughing because we had a conversation about confidence in the at such times, you should be open to your friends. They may not have realized that you need their loving support to bring out the confident side of your personality, which they know is there and which they value and love. So these are some of the chair options, if you guys are wondering. Deb is here. She said she wants to pick a chair, but she doesn't want to talk. So I said, well, then she can play later. I was thinking about this one, but I did not pick that one.
Yeah, and yours was my second choice.
Is this your first choice? Deb says this is her choice, but was this your choice?
No, mine was yours or mine? Mine
so
was
which one did you have?
Mine was the leather. Leather, like reliable, comfy. Yeah. Like I feel like you could sit and read a book. Like,
okay, calm down. Deb really wants to know what this card says, but she won't read it to us. She's going to read it to herself and leave us all.
I'm going to take my next sample, Pinot Grigio, light-bodied with grapefruit and floral aroma.
It's Pinot Gris.
Yes, a dry wine with hints of lemon zest and the palate providing a clean finish. Is there a difference between Gris and Grigio?
I think it's the region. I think Grigio is Italian. Pinot Gris is French. Yes.
Because I go for the Italian typically. This is definitely drier. So this definitely isn't, this Chardonnay was more my thing than this, which is funny because I think it's good, but it's not my typical.
Yeah. And for anyone wondering, my wine slushy is containing Raspberry Blush, which is a sweet wine, aromatic, with a blend of Pinot Gris and raspberry. Raspberry lemonade, someone just tried. Well, I don't know if they were talking about me or.
Okay, let's read Deb's card.
She didn't. Can we read it? Okay. So this was the card that Deb chose. And it says you can Wow. I don't know if I want to read this about my mother. You can be very attractive, seductive, and absorbing. This reflects a certain emotional determination of which your friends are well aware and which they usually find attractive. They know you like to get what you want out of a situation, and they enjoy your quickness of wit and ability to move fast when it's necessary. You have a great appetite for life, but your enthusiasm sometimes brings you more than you can happily handle. Behind all of this is a certain sense of being misunderstood, maybe even a little insecure. This makes your friends sometimes wary. They perceive the degree of compensating possessiveness in your makeup and fear that this sometimes motivates your affections rather more than simple disinterested love. So that's that one.
That's interesting.
Yes,
Chairs.
it is.
The new chairs could say so much.
Yeah. There was one that I wanted you. Okay, so this one could be interesting. It's the garden relationship test. This was the one that I was going to show you because this is the one that I use when I sometimes want to talk with people about psychological tests but not use the real tests. So this one, quite big. There's a house and there's all different kinds of people in the house. And the person that you pick kind of tells you a little bit about someone. And this one I also just used for fun, just to see what appeals to you. So what person would you think that you are?
I got to check out the whole spiel here. There's a lot of people.
There are 28 people, 28 possible people in this house to be. No, I'm sorry, 33 possible people in this house to be.
Again, probably 2.
Okay, so what's the first one? Because we can do more than one on this.
14.
Okay.
And the other one is 12.
So 14 is a picture of a person in a room by themselves reading a book. There's also an instrument nearby and like a wastebasket with some crumpled up papers. I would say this person is creative, but in solitude. So you like to create, you have a lot of ideas, but you need that alone time to process all. And then you said this other person is 20. So it's a room where there's this dude swinging from a lamp. There's somebody who seems a little bit upset near the door. There's another person slamming their head into a wall. And then the one Tara picked is just standing in the middle, arms out wide.
Chaos.
So exactly, yes. You thrive in chaos. That's what that one is.
So I feel like it's that I can be there during the people who are crazy hanging from the chandeliers, but then I sometimes also need my alone. That's how I felt like.
Absolutely.
As far as all those people, like that juxtaposition of can be part of the party, but sometimes needs your focus.
That makes sense. I've done this one so many times. I can't remember the one that I first picked, but I think for some reason it was this person here. So there's 3 people in a room. There's a guy who's directing. There's somebody who's holding someone on top of their shoulders, and I said I would be the person on top of the shoulders, which is essentially changing a light bulb. So like the fixer, somebody who wants to fix stuff. So that's fun. And it says on the bottom, who are you today? So this is saying that,
different day.
It depends on what your mood is, but some of it is personality. And then there's this other one that's a little bit different. Same idea, but it's like a playground. And there's a few less options. This one is usually for kids because there's less going on.
I'm going down the slide.
Yeah, of course, but the same idea, like going and having fun amidst the chaos around you. And then if I was the fixer person on here, I guess I would probably be this person who's helping somebody up a ladder. Yeah.
Nicole fixes us all from the inside out.
I attempt to. Who knows if it actually works? I make my best guess.
Deb, you gotta tell us who you are.
Yes.
I'm gonna try the Vidal Blanc.
Okay.
French-American hybrid with aromas of pineapple and citrus that carry on into the palate, along with hints of lemongrass on the finish.
True.
Yep.
This is the King DMC Reserve.
Right. Right. Yes. Thank you.
you.
Tasty. Yeah, so the DMC, we have to maybe do a whole thing on Run DMC.
Yeah, well, and then we can tag him in it, and I can post my picture having met him. He was a super nice guy. And then just for context, like at Comic-Con, he was there because he does make comic books, and so we had a table, but he also has his own brand of wine here. He has cookies that he sells, and everything that he's marketing goes to some sort of charity. But it is a charity wine that he developed here. But super, super nice guy. And one of the things at Comic-Con was he was selling his book that he wrote about suicidal ideation and about how he was able to overcome that and push through it. So that's a really important thing.
Yeah, this is the description of his wine, but it doesn't say on here.
I could probably look on the website and see what it says.
One of my kids going to the comic book and Comic-Con thing wasn't a big reader, but now she really likes graphic novels. So, right now they're a little sort of kiddish graphic novels, but I feel like maybe she could be a comic book kid.
She could.
So maybe she's a future recruit into your Comic-Con. She and I are the ones who watch more of the adventure stuff. We watch more of fantasy stuff. Like she's more into that. I mean, the other one reads a lot more into fantasy in that way. But as far as like,
So you said it was the older or the younger?
younger,
That's what when you said the other reads more fantasy, I was like,
yeah,
I know who.
yeah, the younger's more into graphic novels. So I feel like she's like, I'm finally starting to like reading. They just have to be graphic novels. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. I don't care how you get it.
So are they
Make it
jealous that you're going to Comic-Con?
The older one was like, what?
She's like,
Why do you think you're cool?
so the DMC Wine, the charity is the Felix organization, which helps create inspiring experiences and opportunity for children growing up in the foster care systems. It's a really good show.
Cool.
Yes.
Ooh, it is hot.
Yes. So speaking of Comic-Con, how are your costume ideas panning out?
I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. I think it's going to be super recognizable. Are we saying what we're being?
We can keep it on the DL for now if you want.
But I think that it'll be very recognizable between the two that I was choosing, especially because the hair is very, very specific, the wig. So I think it's going to be highly recognizable. It's going to be fairly easy. I already have half the stuff. I have to only buy like the accessories essentially. Like I have the dress, little sweater.
As long as you have comfortable shoes, that's the most important.
Well, I'm going to wear
It's a lot of walking.
combat boots shoes that I used for that dance that I did at the recital.
Just make sure they're broken in because you definitely need comfortable footwear. Yeah. So my costume is in progress already, but I really want to do something very fancy, which in order to do it the way I want it to do, I would either have to purchase it pre-made, which it's too much money.
Yeah.
Or I could try to make something myself, but I don't think it's going to work out as well. So I've got some alternate options. One I wanted to share with Deb to see if she thinks it's something I can make on my own.
Are you crafty, Deb?
She used to be. She used to make my Halloween costumes and sew and all that other stuff.
I don't know how to sew other than the button. Like something that like just like that. All right.
Yes, she's very crafty. You used to be more. I think you used to have more time.
Reason to do it too.
Yeah.
You're a kid. Now it's like, what do I need?
Yeah. So this is what. So these they're just embroidery appliques, but I think they put them on wire to make them stick out, and then they just sewed straps around it to tie around you. So do you feel like that's something I could make myself?
So it's like ironed on to a frame?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I'll show you the picture.
Maybe we could do some random wine facts that I started.
This is what I see. They're just embroidery ones, but they're on wire, so they stay.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But then the other option was they just have like embroidery ones, and I could just put it in.
That's actually really pretty. Like, it doesn't have maybe the dramatic effect, but it's really pretty.
Right. Well, I wouldn't do the gold. I would do black.
Right,
Still.
but I'm saying the whole concept, like of it being. Like,
I feel like that is just going to be easier, so I may do that.
All right, let's talk a little bit about wine for a moment.
No.
So there's something called the drunken monkey hypothesis, that stating that ancestors of humans ate fallen fruit fermenting naturally on the forest floor, and they liked it. And that's how basically alcohol became introduced. It's a theory, it's not proven, but stating that, it has readily digestible calories, lots of them, fruit is easy to find, and ethanol is antimicrobial, so it was fairly healthy for them. So it's interesting that they're saying that humans are pre-adapted for consuming alcohol.
Right. Well, and I know that wine in like very early cultures was more of like a ritualistic thing, like using it in sacrifices, using it for worship.
Yeah, so humans have been fermenting beverages on purpose since around 10,000 BCE. Yeah. They found like pottery and things that show them that it probably started back then. So I thought that was fairly interesting, that we may actually just been predisposed.
So if you were given one of those ancient vessels of wine, would you drink it? Not the whole thing, but like, would you taste it?
I would have to smell it.
Okay.
First.
Fair. That's fair.
I'm sure it's probably more vinegar than wine at this point.
Yeah.
I think that as long as it looked and smelled okay, I would take a sip.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's other like wines that have been in cellars in bottles for like years and years and years and years, and people.
But I don't know if the ancient people preserved it as well.
Well, no, I'm just thinking about like when the first winery started. There's like bottles from like 1700s.
Bottled, and it looks like cloudy in a weird way, and it doesn't smell bad. I think that we know that alcohol is going to stay for a long time. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Yeah, so they're saying that like between 2500 and 200 BCE, the Indian Vedic period, they fermented beverages from sugar, honey, and fruit juice. And they said that wine was an invigorator of mind and body, antidote to sleeplessness, sorrow, and fatigue, producer of hunger, happiness, and digestion.
Facts. True stuff.
And in taken as medicine and not for intoxication, it acts as amrita, which is ambrosia. It cures the natural flow of internal fluids of the body. I'm not sure that's true, but the theory was,
Well, this is also back when they were focused on the humors.
So this is ancient India, so this is pretty far back. So it's interesting. And then there's some Egyptian scrolls and things that have like instructions for herbal medicine and such.
Okay, so basically wine's been around forever and it tastes good.
It does. They gave instructions for herbal medicine, surgical procedures, and spells and incantations to cure ailments like crocodile bites.
Wait, how are we curing a bite?
I don't know. Baldness, sweaty feet.
So at least we know sweaty feet have been around since ancient times.
They have been. And they talked about using things like aloe, resin, caraway, coriander, cucumber, elderberry, fennel, figs, juniper, and saffron. So, I mean, all those things are still around, so we still use them. And they said the advice was rather than drinking contaminated water, it's useful to drink wine, which actually was very smart back then because they knew that they didn't, unless they could boil water, they didn't really have a way to make it clean.
Right.
And alcohol by its nature is antimicrobial. So
that is true.
That's pretty interesting. But some of the things in these medicines with wine also use things like lotus, watermelon, and cat dung. This was for a topical thing, not to drink.
Okay.
Sweet beer and wine. Quite interesting things they use create this.
Nice.
All right, let's take a little bite of the snack.
Yes.
Maybe another sip. I'm a big fan of olives. Are you an olive person?
Yes. I love
I think some people are olive and pickle people and some people are not.
And you know what? More olives and pickles for us then. I am obsessed.
So whenever people have, like, they're not eating or they're eating around them,
Can I have your pickle? Can I have your olives?
exactly.
Exactly.
We talk about this, that there's like a theory, or I heard this somewhere else, that like in a relationship, one person has to be the olive pickle person and the other person has to not be, so they can always give them to the other person. Oh, it works.
So should I put that on my dating profile?
Yes.
Must hate olives or pickles.
Or
It sounds like it makes sense. Yeah. I just remembered this place when Deb and I came here last. We got like a charcuterie board, and I always hate ham, but I remember I loved their ham here.
It's like a Spanish ham. Yeah.
So, how was your week at work?
A little busier toward the end of the week, but not in an insanity way. Lots of interesting things. I feel like it was fair variety. And I've had so many students shadowing me. So this is the summertime. So these are all not people who are in PA school or people who these are people who want to apply to PA school.
Right.
So they're trying to get all the shadowing hours done in the summer. So I have 4 different students that are coming different days, different times. So it's good for them to just see all the random things going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had some really interesting cases lately that I need to work with my postdoc on, just because they're not things that we typically see. So, like, I had someone with XYY syndrome, I have somebody with fetal alcohol syndrome. And so those aren't things we necessarily see as often, but they're important to know.
Yeah. Actually, there's one thing I'm just somebody who's a new patient. I'm going to ask you eventually, does anxiety present differently? And I'm sure it does. I'm sure the answer is yes. But in someone who maybe has like undiagnosed level 1 autism, it may, some certain things might appear to be anxiety, but maybe they're not. Maybe it is more that presenting.
Yes, I think the biggest kind of confusion or overlap sometimes between in adults is going to be autism versus social anxiety versus OCD, or like agoraphobia. I don't see that as often because obviously if the agoraphobia is significant enough, they're not going to come to see me. So, but yeah, it's definitely, those are the common differentials. What are we drinking next?
Albarino. So light, this is usually a Spanish wine or Portuguese. Light tropical aromas.
Yeah, I like them too. They're light. So
light, but not like
birthday parties here today. They're closing up a birthday party.
Definitely have to get a picture in front of the.
It's too bad that our birthdays are typically in colder weather, so can't necessarily enjoy a winery.
And you can do
Depends
fall,
on, yeah.
So we can do something
indoors.
Actually, for my actual birthday, October 6th, for anyone who wants to send me gifts. I got tickets at Count Basie to see the Violent Femmes.
Oh, nice.
Which is fun, and my husband will go with me, and it's literally
very 90s
and very down the street from where I live, so it's very easy to get to. So I was like, I saw it on sale. It wasn't anything expensive. They had this whole pre-sale, like it was going to sell out immediately. And I'm like, I got to sell out immediately. But anyway, I was like,
nice
gift to myself.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I want to travel for my birthday, but I haven't decided where. And I really need to get on that just because travel prices are so insane sometimes.
I mean, I think you're probably at a sweet spot where people don't want to travel as much too close to the holidays, like between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's probably a good time where it's not gonna be crazy crowded everywhere.
Yeah, usually I can get the good sales for people who have just returned from traveling for Thanksgiving, but then haven't yet traveled for Christmas. So it depends. Like I've traveled around my birthday before. I've gone to Vegas.
Yeah.
Actually, twice I went to Vegas around my birthday. But yeah, I'm considering possibilities, just really haven't nailed it down yet. So I'm open to suggestions if anyone wants to email suggestions on where to travel in December.
And just
Early December. I was thinking of Sedona or Santa Fe or somewhere, in
Bay, somewhere like that.
Yeah, because the weather is to be good there.
Yeah, that actually will probably be. That's somewhere I want to go. Is like Santa Fe.
So do you want to go to Santa Fe for my birthday?
I don't know.
I'm asking you to commit on camera.
I have a week's more vacation left that I haven't spoken for yet. So I have to decide what I'm doing with it.
Yeah. No, I would probably just go for like a long weekend. I wouldn't go for.
Yeah, but it is somewhere that I do want to explore at some point.
Yeah.
Santa Fe. Actually, New Mexico, there's a big hot air balloon festival. I think it's in
I was going to say that's in early fall.
That's something I've heard about. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, just seems nice. And there's a lot of spas out there. Just like kind of chill and relaxing. Tzatziki and spinach dip, yeah. So, Tara traveled to Greece.
I did. I was actually, I would go back there. I could live there.
Yeah.
It's one of those places that
And the weather was nice.
is perfect. I mean, they told us most people that do leave, like Santorini, certain places, and go back to the mainland for winter. So we were there in late September, early October. And it was great, but like in a few weeks, this
Clears
is the
out.
end of the season. So they get a rainy season. That's the thing, I guess. You have to, find somewhere else to live that time of year.
Yeah.
But I really, really, really love Santorini. I could eat Greek food all the time too.
Yes,
Like,
I love Greek food.
Like Mediterranean stuff.
Well, yeah, we were talking olives. That's a big part of it.
The food there too was really affordable. Food was very, very affordable. And they don't expect tips like we give.
Well, that's how all of Europe is. But also, I feel like part of it is they probably just get paid better, so they don't necessarily, don't necessarily have to rely on tips to survive. So speaking of wages, I started season 2 of the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders reality show, which I was obsessed with first season. And so the second season just came out and I was watching it. And exactly, Deb said the girls are getting ripped off. And that's a big part, well, not a big part. It is part of the second season talking about them negotiating for better wages and a living wage. And there's this one girl in the second season, in addition to being like, essentially like, they call it like a lead. So essentially like a junior coach of these cheerleaders, who are like the best cheerleaders in the country. She has to work 3 jobs to make a living. 3 jobs. So she works basically from like 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., then goes to training camp, does all of that stuff, is there until late, then on her weekends has to do that, and that's to make a living. 3 jobs. And she's still relatively young. And she's like, I know this isn't going to last forever. So that's, what's keeping me here. But it's so much money in these. And I'm sure a lot of the other professional cheerleaders too. It's like they're considered iconic. But like, are these women really getting paid?
Now, I remember. I don't know if
the
you remember,
Rockettes too, Deb says.
Famously,
I think they do a little bit better.
Paula Abdul was a Knicks cheerleader, I believe.
Yes.
And that was before she was anybody. And I think she had mentioned it was basically, I guess it's akin to though people who are trying to make it on Broadway or trying to do anything. They have a small role.
Yeah.
Same thing though. I bet the ensemble, they don't make a whole lot. That's Broadway. True. So it's akin to that.
And really. They have to do so much. Like it's not just going to the game and cheering, because they're not just cheering, they're dancing. But then they have to do like these iconic dances like Thunderstruck. They have to go for appearances. They have to go for like all of this stuff. And they have basically this, like, they have to live their lives by this certain standard when they're wearing that uniform. And it's like, and then they're barely getting paid to survive. It's a lot. I have a friend, I believe she listens to the podcast. If you do, hi, Erin, who was a former professional cheerleader, and she loved it. And she's part of an amazing group called Science Cheerleaders. And these are all women who were professional cheerleaders, but also work in STEM.
I want to be their friend.
You would, and they're,
And I did cheer in college at Seton Hall for my first year, and then I broke my arm. But I coached cheerleading in high school. Yeah.
Yes. How do I have all this crap on my pants already? No, I didn't crap my pants. I just have
You're a messy eater.
I didn't even know what that is. maybe. So we were talking about women getting a living wage and being queens.
Yeah. What
exit
exit
white?
wine? White, yes.
Oh,
what
so maybe
exit? So that's the
we
whole
should
play
explain
on New
that.
Jersey, right? So usually people say what exit when you ask where you live.
No,
in New Jersey.
no one who's actually from New Jersey actually says that. It's something people think New Jersey people ask.
I mean, if you want to give like
They're idiots.
Parkway, if you want to give
But not everybody's off the Parkway.
the Parkway or Turnpike, I guess they kind of the Parkway and the Turnpike kind of crisscross the state north to south like this. So, you know what I mean? It's sort of one or the other, you're relatively close. Obviously, actually here we're fairly far out. I had to take Parkway 287, 22, back roads.
Yep, to 202, I'm sure. Yeah.
202.
Yeah, for those who don't know much about New Jersey, it is a very large state. There's lots of different areas.
It's not a very large state. It's a small
not
state
compared to
by
California.
Well, compared to most.
Yeah.
We're the most densely populated. That's right.
But we've got a little bit of everything.
We do. We have beaches, mountains, farms, cities, the whole nine. And within a relatively, like, think about that. So in an hour, I can get from beach, I'm closer to the beach area to the farm area.
Yeah. And then to go up to the mountains in North Jersey, that would be maybe a 2-hour drive.
Yeah.
To go down to Exit 0, Cape May, is 2 hours.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a wide variety of things. I think we get a bad rap.
We do. We're not all Sopranos in Jersey Shore.
But we like to pretend sometimes.
There are these 3 dads trying to take pictures of their 4 children, and it is adorable. They're like, smile. And then I heard one dad say, I have to see your teeth. How cute. It's because the moms are drinking.
Yeah. And as they should be.
As they should be, yeah.
The moms chill.
Look how
Kids
proud of
run around.
Look how proud of themselves these dads are. Taking a picture.
Yeah. I have never been to the winery. It's very close to me. Fox.
Hollow? I think I went once. Yes.
Is it more? Is it? I mean, I mean,
I went with
Homedale, so there are room for fields and such. Is it picturesque? Do you recall?
Yes, but not in the way that this is.
This
So
is very
there's like nice grounds. They have like a music area. They have like an indoor where you can do tastings, and they have like picnic benches if it's like really too hot. But I don't remember being able to see the vineyards from where you can, where the public can go.
This is very.
One, as I said, there's 2 other wineries within like 10 minutes of here. There is Hopewell Valley Vineyards, which is really nice. They have like their own like pizza oven and do stuff there. Lots of events there. I can't remember the other one. I'm sorry. But it's like 5 minutes from here. It's much closer.
Yeah.
Tree Ridge was the winery that Tara first introduced me to long before I lived 5 minutes from it.
Because an ex-boyfriend used to live close.
Yes.
There. And I think he still lives close to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
In that vicinity, at least. Yeah. I don't know if I want to do a different tasting. If I want to do
The wine slushy was nice. It was very refreshing. I would recommend
that. Would cool me off.
That will cool you off because I'm only now starting to get a little bit.
You can have mocktails on here.
They do, which that's interesting. The tall blonde sounds nice. I might do the blueberry spritz. It sounds refreshing. And summery, blueberries. So maybe we should try another game.
Sure.
Get myself arranged because I threw the cards everywhere. Yes. What do we do?
I mean, I could do another tasting with the reds.
Yeah. Or sweet if you so partake.
It is hot. Sweet might be better. I'm not a sweet wine person per se. This type of weather makes me feel like
Okay. Are you good at shuffling cards?
decent.
Okay. Shuffle these. And then, Deb, do you want to play or are you just going to observe? Okay. So shuffle these and then deal 5 to each of us.
I mean, these are not traditionally shaped.
They are not. They're squares.
That works.
I used to be able to do that.
I can't.
And now
I can't do the bridge because these are too small.
Yeah. No, they're too little fat.
Cards were more of a part of my life when I was younger. Like I feel like we played cards. Like
In college, it was like
as a kid, like I feel like we just played if it was war or whatever. Like
Yeah.
anything, just like anything.
And I didn't even think to bring a regular deck of cards. And I have like 3 regular decks.
All right. So how many?
5 each. And you keep them face down.
So I mean,
And then you know what, Deb? Maybe because you're not playing, you'll be the therapist, which means
You're
you
the
just
judge.
you're the judge. You say
Yes.
who has the better hand.
that's the same with the other game
Yeah.
of mine. You kind of need a judge.
They call it the therapist. in this
Yes,
game.
the therapist.
Deb is a therapist. Watch out, everyone. So, and then no, I'm not going to cry. Okay, shuffle those.
I am the official podcast shuffler, apparently.
She is. Well, because I can't shuffle, so somebody's got to do it. I don't know what these kids are spitting on, but it's a game they've developed and they're really enjoying.
Drinking.
They're drinking water and then spitting on
And
it.
then spit.
But
Are
like
there
it's
like
very,
bugs there or something?
that's what I was thinking. They must be spitting on bugs because it's very directed. Like they're looking for things and then doing it.
Your water.
I'm surprised they're not
All right.
spitting it at each other. I don't want to give them ideas. And then finally shuffle those.
There's so many cards.
There are so many cards.
There is, you know what? There's a place actually a lot closer to you that's a farm that also has a winery that I've been to once around my birthday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's very close to you. Right?
Yeah. Okay. So
why are you incapable of emotional intimacy?
And then you're going to pick 3 of these from the top, and you're going to choose which you think is the best choice.
Of why are you incapable of emotional intimacy?
And then you're going to put it next to there.
All of these are pretty good. All of these.
And
okay,
then
I'm going to say this is my answer.
Okay, so put it face up. Yep. And then you're going to put your other 2 answer cards at the bottom of the pile. That's okay. And then I'm going to choose that one. So why are you incapable of emotional intimacy? I became a Scientologist, and Tara put, I touched the President of the United States. And so now what you do is you look at your treatment cards and you pick what would be the best treatment for either one. And then you decide whose treatment is the best treatment.
So it can be treatment for one or the other.
Yes. Or both. Yes. This is not.
I don't even understand any of my answers.
I'm picking that one because it fits perfectly.
I don't really understand.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to make sense of them.
I'm going to pick this one. As for you.
Tara's choice was that is the answer to I became a Scientologist.
Yes.
And then
you're the Antichrist. Is that what that symbol is?
Yes. Well, anarchy. And then my answer to hers was, hey, do me a favor and push this button real quick. And then
it is kind of perfect.
It fit perfectly. So which is the better treatment?
Let Deb see them. You got to see the whole thing.
She said she doesn't like any of it.
Well, you have to see the answers to each person's thing. I think yours wins anyway.
It was just the most appropriate.
It completely, perfectly fit.
I don't really like this game. I decided it's too complex. There's too many cards. Like Cards Against Humanity is just too complex.
Yeah, the diagnosis one is 2.
We'll try the diagnosis one. Yeah, so I won.
But I mean, that was literal.
Yeah, and that was just luck that it came out of my pocket. Yeah, and I remember I've only played this once before, but it was more complicated than it felt like it needed to be. Like we could have taken the question card out and just been like, this is what I told my therapist, and this is how we treat it.
Right.
So do we try your game instead?
I need a new flight.
Yes, it's getting hot.
It is getting hot.
Do you want me to grab you a water?
It's your tune. You're supposed to say
it's getting hot in here, so take off all. I am getting so hot, I want to take my clothes off.
You need your 30-second dance party. But Deb,
it's always a 30-second dance party. She gave me.
You missed it. Wait some of the batteries in.
Yes. She gave me a gift that is this push button, and it's a 30-second dance party.
So you just hit the button, and it plays music, and you have to dance for 30 seconds. And when I saw the commercial, I'm like,
needed,
completely
necessary.
All right. Symptom search will draw one of the symptom cards, read it aloud. All the players respond by choosing one of the diagnosis cards they feel is the funniest, most absurd, insulting, or rude for that symptom card. It's like Cards Against Humanity, except for diagnosis and treatment. Essentially. So we each get 7 diagnosis cards, which are the blue. Okay. All right. So same concept. This is going to be the diagnosis, and then we have to pick from our pile of cards. So I'm sorry, this is the symptom. We have to pick the diagnosis. So our symptom is it normal that my teeth have been falling out? We will have
just pick one.
Pick one.
It's like things Deb would say if I told her I had these symptoms.
So I know which one I'm going to pick, but there's one that's like too on the nose, like too
obvious.
Like not funny, like because it's actually the truth. So I'm going to pick this one. Well, actually, yeah. All right, you ready?
Yeah.
We're just going to put them down because there's no actual game. All right, so Nicole said, if you don't intervene now, you'll be the cover story in the next Long Gnomes Monthly. I said, don't worry, nothing lasts forever. That's particularly relevant in your situation because you'll be dead within a week. So the original one, I was like, all right.
Wait, no, don't tell me because you might want to put it down for a different card.
Yeah, I guess so. Wait, where did it go?
Where did it go?
Oh, I found it.
You lost it.
I don't know. Whose is better?
Whose is better? Hers is better? So then you get that one. And what is the goal? 5 cards?
I have no idea. We're just playing.
This one says, my right leg has swelled to twice the size of my left. What is the diagnosis?
We're probably supposed to take a new card.
Yes,
Okay,
that's
ones are-
what she said.
That could be the answer. That's 15 cents.
It's
My
true.
red light
This could be the answer to everything.
I don't know. I don't know if these are that funny either.
I mean, I'm just picking the most ridiculous one. It doesn't have to be funny.
Yeah, I guess so. All right.
So mine said, in response to, my right leg has swelled to twice the size of my left. Get busy living or get busy dying. Or you must have not taken the advice from your last visit, which was to turn your life. Which one?
Not funny.
Sarah wins again. She's biased. She's the one.
She's trying to get.
She's getting back at me for all of those times we played games when I was younger, and I beat her.
Grab another one from the pile.
Okay, our next diagnosis card is
Why is it always legs? Something has atrophied in my legs, and now I have to skip everywhere.
I didn't have to
This
think.
is perfect.
And the answers are, I guess you're not very popular with the ladies. Or you're not sick, you're just an idiot. No need to thank me, and don't call me Shirley. Now she's doing it on purpose.
Yeah, the music is nice here. Like I said, it's just chill.
Okay, this
There we
one's
go.
not about legs. When I cough, it sounds like an engine that won't turn over. I mean, I feel like that one's too true.
God, yeah, seriously.
My answer was, that is how pandemics start.
Mine was, you should seriously consider moving to warmer climates.
Just going to pick you again. Thank you, COVID-19.
Without you, we would not be inspired.
Without you, I would not have won this round of the game. Okay.
All right, we gotta grab cards.
And this one says, I'm allergic to water at room temperature.
Okay, I don't know. Sure.
So my answer was, there's a 12-step program for people like you. It's called Idiots Anonymous.
Mine says, why don't you just do us all a favor and for a movie?
It feels like it.
It's like a girl snotty movie.
Like Jawbreaker, maybe. What? It's a tie.
The time.
So do we pick two more answers? We can't have a tie, Deb. That's not how this works.
I mean, there's no.
If
way.
you give it to Tara, the game is over. So you have to give it.
Okay.
She says it's a tie, and she won't budge. That
Just
one
take
just doesn't.
this, we just take these cards.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know that we're really.
That's true.
Do I have enough cards? No.
Sorry, this one says, my hair flies off my head in the slightest breeze as my hair is blowing.
My goodness. Oh, there you go. This is the one I was going to use for the gun.
That's what happens after living on a steady diet of jelly beans and candy corn for 20 years. And then I said, a warm bath of oatmeal. It won't help a bit. I just like saying it.
Sounds soothing and
Mine,
sticky.
warm oatmeal bath. I'm coming up. I'm coming up from behind. The underdog is working on it. Now we're into the hair questions. My hairline is doing the opposite of receding. I can't see anything.
Oh my goodness.
Just read that one because I feel like it's another thing you would say. Oh my goodness.
I don't know. Mine's just, this is the most opposite, so that's why I picked it.
My hairline is doing the opposite of receding and I can't see anything. Sounds like arthritis. And mine says, I think you should leave your family and start fresh.
I like that.
What?
Stay a little off kilter.
Yeah.
Got a little Prince going now. I don't know if they can hear the music because the mic's supposed to stop the background news, but
Well, there's an artist singing Raspberry Beret.
it's not an artist formerly known as. It is an artist currently known as somebody.
So our next one, are my eyeballs supposed to be pulsating?
Ooh, I don't know. All right, so my eyeballs are my eyeballs supposed to be pulsating? The symptoms you described don't qualify for medical treatment because you're softer than baby shit. And then I can't help you, but here's the number for animal control, you heathen.
Which one? Mine, the baby shit one. I knew she was gonna like the baby shit. That's Deb right there.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, our next one is, my lips are so swollen, they're blocking my nostrils. Sounds like a problem. And the answers are, see what the anti-vax life has brought you. And then mine says, you're most likely suffering from proctalgia, which roughly translates to, you're a pain in the ass and you're going to die alone.
Oh my goodness.
Okie dokie. So silly. My face makes children cry.
God.
Well, there is one thing that may work. Do you live near any bleach factories? And then mine, it is what it is.
There's nothing I can do for that.
Can't help
I
it.
can't fix your face.
My head has doubled in size since last April.
Make sure you have enough.
Oh my gosh. Last April.
Okay, so your face has doubled in size since last April. You're disillusioned and appear to have lost your grip on reality. Medically speaking, you're Charlie Sheen. Or it's probably just minor aches and pains. Now stop being a nerd before I give you a swirly.
Which one?
Charlie Sheen.
Charlie Sheen or a swirly?
Yeah, Charlie Sheen.
Always Charlie Sheen.
And it makes sense coming from you. It's like, no, it's all in there.
Always Charlie Sheen whenever possible. Which I've just realized many of our younger listeners may not understand that reference. And that's just sad for you. I'm not going to describe it.
You have to Google that.
Wait, what is it?
AI might not give you the truth.
What was it? Tiger Blood?
I don't know what it's called. Yeah.
The whole thing. Just look it up. You'll find it on YouTube for sure. Yeah. So our next one is I have an abnormally round face. We're in the face ones now.
Oh, yeah.
We moved from to faces. Normally round face.
All right.
Wow, long answers on this one.
Yeah, lots
I
of
have an abnormally round face. Question. Have you been wearing your mask while walking outside without any signs of life around you for miles? If you say no, so help me God.
Somehow you've managed to contract the plague. Well, at one point it infected nearly half the world's population. Now the only ones that seem to get it are dock workers and people from California.
Some of these feel very COVID-centric. Either that or we equate every pandemic with COVID. I took one when you were.
Fun places.
How come my heart rate surges from 40 to 300 beats per minute every hour? We're looking for wrong answers only.
All right. So Nicole said you're in the final stages of radiation poisoning. Don't mean to alarm you, but your body's basically going to melt over the next few days. Haven't you seen Chernobyl? Which we're going to do an episode on it.
We are. That's why I picked it.
I put how much of your assets are liquid. The treatment for what you have is pretty steep.
It's a hard one. Is it another tie? Another tie. I don't even know what's happening anymore.
I don't either. Well, this is like a
fire table, yeah. We don't need a fire table right now. It's very hot out.
Last night, though, we made s'mores.
Oh, nice.
On our fire table. It's like a propane. And we've been eyeing in Target this package of Jet Puff marshmallows that color changing. So they start out pink and blue, and the pink gets a yellowish sheen to it, and the blue gets a greenish color. It was not that impressive, and I felt like the texture of the marshmallows.
Oh, wait, you did try them?
Yes.
Okay.
It's not normal. There was something weird about it.
Unpopular opinion, marshmallows at their core are unnatural and not normal. And I believe if crazy had a smell, it would be marshmallows.
I might believe you on the crazy had a smell thing.
Marshmallows.
Yeah.
Just something about too sweet, too much sugar.
What I really like to do actually is like fancy s'mores. Like instead of just good old Hershey's and graham crackers, like do all different sort of elevated fun things, and we could do it with a wine pairing or something.
Well, and they have like artisan marshmallows and stuff.
Right. Like do like a whole
different types of cookies other than just graham cracker.
Yeah.
Shortbread.
Yeah.
So when are you doing that, and when can I come?
Haven't gotten that far yet. Oh my goodness. Get me some drinks, Steph.
Yes, it's hot.
It is hot.
Oh, so our next diagnose this card is why have my lips and feet turned blue? So we went from legs and face to now face and legs in one card. We're not looking for real diagnoses, Deb, but I'm glad that you're aware. She said it's a lack of oxygen. Mine says, don't feel bad. You're not the most unattractive person I've seen. Or your lab results are back and they confirm what I thought before. You have a tiny penis. Of course you do. Okay. All
right.
Another card. Right. Why does my right ankle shatter every time I walk? Feels like me.
Just crumbles.
Well, that's why it only happens every time I walk. Why does my right ankle shatter every time I walk? Have you considered acupuncture? Or is my professional opinion that you're a fucking dumpster fire on wheels?
Things you wish you could say.
This doesn't have to be real advice. You can go with the funny one. Of any of the ones that Tara should win, that one she should.
Things you want to say to people sometimes that you cannot.
Things I want to say to patients often, and I cannot. Don't diagnose yourself on TikTok.
On TikTok. They made up like new thing.
Or Google, or
it's new. It's a new online odd HG. That's not a real thing.
I hear that. There's also no such thing as many things I hear patients tell me about.
All right. Ooh, this looks fun. Apple, white, peach.
It smells good.
Exit blush, raspberry blush, blackberry red, and berry.
So the raspberry blush was what was in my slushie, and now I'm drinking a blueberry spritzer, which has the blueberry one.
Exciting. Right.
This is nice, not too sweet, but refreshing. You want to try it?
Where were we? We need a diagnosis. Ooh, this one is a real diagnosis.
I have a craving to eat iced dirt and paper. That's pica.
Correct.
Or pica.
Which is often a sign of an underlying
iron deficiency.
This is the apple white, crisp and flavorful blend of Sauvignon Blanc and apple wines, highlighting the flavor of the granny setbacks. Smith apple. I like it. It's not like crazy sweet. It's got like that tart of the Granny Smith.
Yeah, I went to a winery in Cape May a couple weeks ago, and they had an apple white that I purchased because I had it in a cocktail, and it was really nice. New Jersey has a lot of fruit wines. If you guys are wondering why are we keep talking about
Are we? Wait, we're blueberry and cranberry growers here? No, not bog. We have cranberries. We have blueberries for sure.
We definitely have cranberry bogs, not a ton, but we have some.
Berries, I think, are the bigger.
Blueberries, strawberries, corn, tomatoes,
Jersey tomatoes. Sorry, people.
apples.
Yes, but Jersey tomatoes, hands
Yes.
down.
Jersey corn's pretty good too.
This corn is pretty good.
What now?
The Garden State.
Although technically it should be the petrochemical state because we have more petrochemical refineries than gardens.
All right, so Nicole said, because I have a craving to eat iced dirt and paper. Based on your symptoms, our system suggests a landfill within 20 minutes of your current location.
I mean, there probably is a landfill within 20 minutes for
I said, if they awarded medals for being a whiny bitch, you'd be at the top of the podium.
Yeah, I think you get that one. I would just try to get rid of it.
Some of my original cards I still have because they've sucked, and like the new ones I've been picking.
Same. Yeah, that's why I put that one down because I just need to get rid of it. I think my skin has shrunk because I think my skin.
I was like, wait, what?
I'm reading the card.
I thought that was real
I think
life.
my skin has shrunk because I can't bend my arms or legs. I'm sorry that my emphasis was so natural. The skin has shrunk. Can't bend my arms and legs. I have one I want to use, but it doesn't like go with any of them. Okay, my answer is you have hypochondria syndrome. I'm guessing that you're not really fun to be around.
And I put, when will you learn that your actions have consequences? Right up your alley.
It is. It works. I keep sleepwalking into my neighbor's apartment and peeing on his walls. Is this normal? We did an episode about sleepwalking. Well, actually killing someone in their sleep. But we did an episode about sleepwalking.
That's sleepwalking. Very sweet. This is sweet wine made from 100% New Jersey peaches. We have peaches too.
Is it too sweet? It has a soft mouthfeel.
Old fruit with some. It smells like peach.
Can I taste it?
It's very peach. I would do that.
It is.
In a spritzer.
Yes, I was going to say I would do it mixed with something. New Jersey has a lot of peach wines. A lot of them have like a weird aftertaste. I think it's something about the fermenting the peach,
Right.
but that one does.
No, it's still nice. It's not overly sweet.
That one doesn't have an
It's
after.
clearly peach.
Well, so they're doing a sparkling version of that, which I feel like that would be nice, but it doesn't come out till next week.
I think would be the key.
Maybe we can get them to give us a bottle because we're talking about old York wineries on our podcast.
In Ringo, Jersey.
Just New Jersey, old York wineries, oldyorkcellars.com. Visit their wine shop for more. I'm sleepwalking in.
Peeing on
There we go.
All right, so I keep sleepwalking into my neighbor's apartment and peeing on his walls. Is this normal? Nicole said, my recommendation is a daily enema of hand sanitizer.
And I just got spinach on my pants.
Let's eat. I said, sounds like somebody's got a case of the Sunday scaries. To treat this condition, make some avocado toast and resist the temptation to cry about it.
I mean, that recommendation for avocado toast, that's the real deal. You feel bad, either some chocolate or some avocado toast. You're going to feel bad. I had a rough day. I had fudge. She doesn't like either answer, but she likes avocado toast. So I think you won.
So what's funny is, like, growing up in the 80s and 90s,
We never really had avocados.
Avocados.
It wasn't a big thing.
Like, maybe you went to
In New Jersey, we didn't have.
Right, I'm sure California, other places did, but you can go to a restaurant, maybe get guacamole at a Mexican place. Outside of that, avocados were not part of my life.
Yeah.
Those are a very big part of my life.
They are, but I think they're, like we were saying, they're more readily available now, so that's why.
We were saying avocados are a very tasty, yummy thing for like kids. Full of happy, healthy fats. Little babies love them. My kids would like go crazy on them.
Because they have like a very neutral flavor. So it's
Right.
like, if you have issues with texture, you may not enjoy it, but flavor profile wise,
It's it can go with anything. If I see it on the menu, I think I need.
well, here's a great one for that. My butthole is like when people put Mentos in a Coke.
Okay, that's what it feels like.
I mean, it just says that's what my butthole is like. It doesn't say that's what it feels like.
That's what my gut butthole is like.
UV light would fix it. If we could only figure out a way to get that light inside of your body.
Wait, there's a sunning buttholes thing that people do.
It's bleaching your body.
No, they're sunning your butthole.
But I mean, it's the same idea. You're just bleaching it.
Just laying in the sun with your butt in the air. I don't know.
Don't you have to like spread the cheeks?
Yes,
I'm afraid I'd get sunburn in there.
the thing. Sawbones covered it, I believe, on their podcast. Have to find the episode.
Sunburn on your butthole? That's like the worst place to get
It's kind of like
purifying.
walking with no shoes and all those things.
That's terrible.
The sun.
I'm relatively sure no one's asshole was ever directly exposed to this.
Well,
There's a reason that there's a reason that
if you
shit's
can think
closed.
of it, someone's done it.
Well, that's true, but it doesn't mean it should be done.
It should be done, right?
There's lots of things that should not be done.
So, and then mine was start praying to Satan because God stopped listening a long time.
So UV light or Satan?
Sunning your butthole, I think, is the answer.
It was not one of our options.
It's UV light.
Are you okay? Are you still thinking of sunning your asshole? You look torn. You're still thinking about sunning your asshole?
UV light on the butthole that's Mentos and Coke. Yeah. But I think it's Mentos and Diet Coke is what needs to be explained.
I think it's anything carbonated.
I think, what's the TV show that used to do all the science experiments? We did it.
Bill Nye the Science Guy?
It was on adults.
When we were adults. When was that?
It'll pop in my head randomly. This is when I start saying things and you're supposed to Mythbusters. Yes.
See? That's all drink to me knowing, yes, again. Trying to
So
say.
what exit? Sweet blend of Chardonnay, Sauvignon Blanc, Cabernet Sauvignon, and Pinot Gris, hints of strawberries, melons. It's actually pretty nice. And I'm not a huge rosé blush person, but this is pretty nice.
Yeah, I want to be like a Yes Way rosé girl. Most rosés are very bitter.
Yeah.
Or dry, and I don't like them.
No, this one's pretty nice. We're going to have to buy some wine.
Yeah, the wines here are pretty affordable, too.
They are.
That's why I actually may ask, like, hey, we're talking about your podcast. Can you let me buy one of those sparkling wines early?
Yeah.
I'm sure they already have them bottled. If they come out next week, I'm sure they're bottled.
I think we've gamed ourselves.
Yeah, we're done. Okay, so it's nothing serious. You're just a dirtbag. Are you really surprised? Are you off your meds again? You're a medical miracle. No one with these symptoms has lived that long. There's the village bicycle, the village idiot, and you, the village cesspool. And then there's a popular health trend with encouraging results called mindfulness. In your case, it can just be about being mindful about your impending death.
You should try CBD. What were your symptoms again? It's an idea you've ever encountered in your measly low-life existence.
You're like, seriously. I mean, I feel like my doctor tells me that.
These things. Here, find a random medical fact.
Find a random medical
Well,
fact.
have stuff like pages that are.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this one. What are hiccups and how to get rid of them?
Well, we talked about one of those cures.
So, what do you think hiccups are? I know she didn't listen to that episode, so that's why I can ask. Yeah, it's like a muscle spasm in your diaphragm. All the shit you know, that you heard it there first. It's okay. We
are.
Our rating is adult. You're
just
fine.
In case.
Apparently antipsychotics like Thorazine can stop your hiccups. But if you don't want to go the antipsychotic route, you can breathe into a paper bag. What else do you think? You said one that Laura used to say.
Well, drink out of the cup from the other side. Actually, but again, I'm talking about another podcast, but Sawbones, they were talking about the husband who's not in medicine. His foolproof trick is literally bending yourself completely. He's saying bend yourself completely in half, like almost like you're touching your toes into it. I think that's part of it, because then your diaphragm is like tucked up in there and then you're trying to swallow, and it like.
I feel like drinking from the other side of the cup is like putting your elbow in your ear. You can't do it.
Laura used to do it.
Okay. Eating a teaspoon of sugar, as you were just alluding to, holding your breath, sucking on a wedge of lime or lemon.
I can see that.
Drinking a glass of water with a straw while you plug your ears with your finger.
Then you're going to end up with an ear problem.
Pulling the top of your hair for 1 or 2 minutes. So I have heard
that one I've never heard.
But I have heard that if you have a migraine, if you try to essentially crack your scalp, it can release some of the pressure of migraine. It never works when I try it, but I've heard that before. Place a cotton swab in the roof of your mouth and gently rub.
Texture, that does not sound fun.
And pull hard on your tongue.
How do you? Well, I have
How
a
do you
trick.
pull hard on your tongue?
Well, no, I have a trick though, because tongues are slippery. If
You don't say. You heard it here first, folks. Tongues are slippery.
If you ever need to pull on someone's tongue, you take a gauze pad and grab it. Because I have to, like, sometimes if you want to look at like a spot on the side of the tongue, you have to use a gauze pad, because otherwise they're going to instinctively.
The reflexes to pull.
And a gauze pad is different.
Heard it here, folks.
Now we're doing raspberry blush, a blend of raspberries, Pinot Gris, light and aromatic with a full flavored.
And it's delicious with lemonade and frozen. That's what I just drank.
Yeah, like raspberry lemonade. That's nice.
Yeah.
I definitely see doing that in the summer with a little, like, as almost like a wine cocktail.
Yeah. But I like your idea, like you said before, the peach, like as a spritzer. I have so much wine at home, and I never think to like throw some club soda in there or like mix it with something else.
Yeah, I mean, summery, we don't need to be like heavy drinking here. We can do
Right.
just, like,
Especially on a day like this when we're outside and it's hot.
don't want to get dehydrated.
Yes. So we're not talking about the dangers of alcohol. We're talking about safe drinking.
Yes. Drink your water in between.
Yes. Hydrate.
I Actually, in the car, I have my faux Stanley that's full of ice and water. So on the way home,
Your family.
yeah. So hopefully on the way home,
Here's a good one. Why does hair turn gray?
yeah, I want to know.
All of the hairs on our head contain pigment cells that contain melanin. Pigment cells in our hair follicles gradually die as we age. A decrease in melanin causes the hair to become a more transparent color, like silver, gray, or white. Premature gray hair is hereditary and usually associated with smoking or vitamin deficiencies. Early onset of gray hair from birth to puberty can be associated with medical syndromes like dyslexia. That's what this book says, and I call bullshit already. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Dyslexia is a learning disorder. It has nothing to do with your hair.
There's just a weird genetic connection.
A more interesting question is why old ladies insist on trying to cover up their gray hair with bright blue hair dye.
I don't think as much anymore, but that was a thing of our lifetime, blue hair.
But I wonder if it's more of them trying to dye it a different color and the gray. And like, you know how your gray hair is a different texture? Maybe it's like not taking the pigment.
I actually use shampoo and it's purple.
A purple
shampoo is different,
It's
though.
different.
But
But
we're
back in
talking
like
in
the
the-
old days, there were a lot of blue-haired ladies. There's something the hair salons used to do. You know, like grandma go get her hair done for the week,
Maybe it was
get it set, and it would come out
something they put in the hair that made it turn that blue color.
some sort of a weird toner.
Yeah, because it definitely wasn't like a cool punk thing. Like a lot of older folks now, which I'm loving, are coming out with like the pink and like the blue and like fashion colors. On board with that. Did I make my nails have a shiver? I paid a woman to do it for me.
I know, but
It's
it's
just
just top of your
chrome on top of regular colors. Chrome on my toes. Chrome on the toes.
Yeah, I did cat's eye the last time in a different
Yeah, that's a
color,
pretty color though.
but this is a lighter one that I did. Just
Show the camera.
translate.
And these are mine. These are my chromey nails. I wanted something, as I heard somewhere recently, patriotic but not political. That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Yes, go America.
Fuck yeah.
All positive.
Or what was that movie with the puppets? America.
Yes, what is
Oh,
that movie?
I don't know. It was a terrible movie.
Yeah, no, but it was
In the
great.
90s.
But it was terrible. It might have been early 2000s.
Yeah, that's true.
What was that? But it was fabulously crazy.
It was. And they, in the beginning scene where they spoof Rent,
Yes.
and they're like,
I
hey,
think
it's
we watched this when I
Sure
lived
we
in
did.
Piscataway. I think we watched it together.
I've seen it multiple times, so I'm sure I watched
Why
it.
can't I think of the name of it? Yeah.
It's like America Fighter or something. I know. It just popped into my head.
All right, I'm going to try the blackberry red. Vibrant, sun-drenched blackberries blended with Merlot and Syrah. Merlot and Syrah are not typically my thing, but blackberry its own might not be. We'll see.
I like blackberry. You just got to get them when they're not too tart.
Yeah, I like blackberries, but blackberry flavored things. These I would say are
Is this like how you don't drink blue things? Because you do.
blackberry flavored. No, this is something it tastes like blackberry fake flavor. Tastes
Yes,
like
yes, I can see that. Because I think a lot of things were flavored like grape or like the kind of berry flavor.
this is good. It's not probably something I do.
No, that's the blackberry red. That's what's in my drink. So do you want to try my drink to see if it's better when it's mixed? No, mine's blueberry. Sorry, I was wrong.
Yours is the last one. This is it's all right, but it's not. It's decent. It's good. It's bad. I think it's the dryness. Because Merlot and Syrah are not wines that I typically go for, so I think that's just my thing.
Makes sense. I am listening. I was just looking up that movie.
Yes.
Team America, World Police.
It is.
Team
Yeah.
America, World Police. America. And then there's the eight. And then that one scene with the puppets peeing on each other.
Yes.
R. Kelly style. Y'all know what that is. Everyone knows that now. This was when we were still just making fun of it and didn't think it was as dangerous as it is. She's definitely,
We take some nice pictures in front of the vineyard so we can post them while we post this.
just seeing how the breeze is coming in. It's nice.
All right, blueberry. New Jersey sun-ripened blueberries with a delicate balance of sweetness and tartiness.
Cheers.
Tartiness. Interestingly, the blueberry is not as sweet.
Yeah, that's what I thought about though.
It's good though. I like
I don't remember which wine it was because the first time I came was many, many moons ago. But there was one that I want to say was more like a port style that they said to drizzle over ice cream. And this was after going to two other wineries. So then we started picking out everyone's stripper name. And one of them was drizzled over ice cream. I believe it was probably the Blackberry Reserve, which is like more of a port style.
Yeah, this one's a little thicker. What do they call that? I know
A little chunkier.
legs is when it stays on the glass.
No, I like when you say thicker. It's a chunkier wine.
All right, we should do the normal ending, I assume. We should. So, thank you for listening to Medical Media Mixer.
The perfect cocktail. Cheers.